Hello and welcome to Spotlight on EDI, where we shine a light on some key movements in the equity, diversity and inclusion space. We'd like to start by wishing everyone a belated Happy International Women's Day. To mark the day, leaders are holding a pop-up event at Meta offices on Thursday the 30th of March. Please get in touch if you'd like to join us and find out more about how you can embrace equity.
And now, for the headlines. FIFA have announced the appointment of Brazilian supermodel Adriana Lima as the official fan ambassador ahead of the Women's World Cup. While Lima's fans celebrated the announcement, there was some backlash from sports fans who questioned why celebrities like this, who have had no official involvement in the sport beforehand, are often given the opportunity to be the face of the sport and sportswear over female athletes. We spoke about pay disparity in the sport last month, and social media users have also questioned how much this ambassador role may be worth financially and how that compares to the players' salaries.
The minor league baseball club, the Indianapolis Indians, have announced that they will keep their team nickname. This is in spite of other American sports teams such as the NFL's Washington franchise and the MLB's Cleveland team changing their nicknames in response to rising conversation around racial injustice and reassessment of America's historical treatment of the indigenous population. The Indianapolis Indians have, however, partnered with a local tribe, the Miami Nation of Indians in Indiana. In a press release, the team stated that their partnership will include a land acknowledgement, recognition of Miami veterans during Native American Heritage Night at Victory Field, support of Miami Scholarship Program, and fan educational opportunities. From the tribe's side, Chief Brian Buchanan said, "When the history of Indiana is studied, the major influence of Native American people is seen in the names of Indiana cities, state parks, rivers, food, celebrations, and other cultural points of interest. We have encouraged the team to remain the Indianapolis Indians."
The Rugby Football Union have announced a new maternity policy that will catalyse promising changes in motherhood in the sport. The policy includes 26 weeks of leave on full pay for England players, including maternity, pregnant parent and adoption leave. Pregnant players will also have the opportunity to perform other roles within the sport during their pregnancy. Prior to going on leave, a safety assessment will be carried out to determine what roles are safest for mother and their unborn child. Red Roses lock Abby Ward, who recently announced she is expecting her first child, has said, "I'm confident the policy will help normalise motherhood in sport and give players the best possible chance of returning to play should they want to do so in a secure and safe way."
Czech Republic international Jakub Jankto has come out as a member of the LGBTQ+ community. The footballer, who plays for Sparta Prague on loan from Getafe, said in a video on Twitter, "I want to live my life in freedom, without fears, without prejudice, without violence, but with love. I'm homosexual and no longer want to hide myself." He follows in the footsteps of other footballers such as Jake Daniels, but where others have either already retired or are at the beginning of their career, his coming out comes at seemingly the height of his visibility. For that reason, his declaration will surely achieve what he explicitly stated the purpose to be: to encourage others to do the same.
And now it's time for our main story. During the Genesis Invitational in Los Angeles, Tiger Woods jokingly handed his opponent, Justin Thomas, a tampon after outdriving him in the 9th hole. The incident sparked a fair amount of discussion and controversy. Fittingly, for Women's History Month, we want to break this down a little more within the context of period shame.
If you're wondering why this particular incident caused controversy, it's because it was said to reinforce the idea that women are physically inferior and that female physiology is related to weakness or to poor performance. Referring to athletes as running or throwing like a girl has long been derogatory until recent years' attempts to reclaim it. While Woods has apologised, stating that it was a joke between friends not intended to cause offence, it was not only on a public platform, but also appeared to have been premeditated, as some questioned whether Woods would have otherwise been carrying a tampon on his person.
But if we widen up the conversation beyond just this on one occurrence, sport has in many ways lacked inclusive consideration of women's cycles. When running a marathon, you rarely see period products being provided as you do other essentials. An international rugby player, Eleanor Snowsill, has said access to bins, toilets and toilet paper during her career was potluck. Last year, Wimbledon announced that they would relax their all-white dress code following discussions around period concerns, and multiple women's GAA teams in Ireland announced that they would do the same last month. But all-white kits and dress codes do continue to be present across other sports that have female participants.
The changes that have already been made are the result of women being vocal and open to talking about issues that come with their cycle. However, this can be tricky as the topic of menstruation has long been considered taboo. On the Leaders in EDI podcast towards the end of 2022, we spoke about the #SayPeriod campaign, which aimed to combat the stigma around periods by normalising language around the topic, following athletes such as Dina Asher-Smith calling for more research and conversations around periods in sport. The Well HQ, who launched the campaign, found that 64% of school-age girls will stop playing sport by their mid-teens because of period pain and shame, which aligns with an Adidas survey in 2021 that found that 1 in 4 girls dropped out of sport in adolescence, with fear of period leakage being a key reason.
Following the Tiger Girls incident, The Gist and Rethink have announced the launch of another campaign, Tampons for Tiger, which aims to highlight female excellence in sport and dispel the myth that women have less ability to perform at a high level than men. So, what more can we do to help dispel this myth and rid the industry of period shame?
Well, across every industry, we can all start by saying period, getting rid of euphemisms like aren't, flow, or mouthing the words under our breaths. Periods are something that has happened or will happen to half the population, and there's no shame in talking about it. People who menstruate need to stop hiding tampons in our sleeves when we go to the bathroom, and the people around us need to create an environment where we feel we can do that without being ridiculed. We need to have period products be more accessible and waste bins to be an essential for every toilet cubicle. Specifically in sport, we need individualised training tailored to each female athlete's cycle to help maximise her performance, and we need to be giving them kits that they will feel comfortable in at any stage.
In our performance special report, The Female Lead, last year, we discussed how there are parts of the cycle where performance in certain areas can be enhanced. So while being mindful of the side effects that come with periods, we shouldn't treat them as a weakness. We can reframe cycles as a strength, or at the very least, not something that will hold an athlete back. And we need to invest in research around female physiology and its impact on performance, so that we are helping women to be the best athletes that they can be.
And last of all, we need to celebrate female athletes and their achievements, not just on International Women's Day, not just throughout Women's History Month, but all year round, every year that comes around. If we give these athletes the praise and the visibility that they deserve, we can rebrand the connotation of performing like a girl from one of inferiority to one of excellence.
The marathon continues.